Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Hope everybody's doing good today. So it's Friday, time to do a little bit of resin casting. I really wanted to revisit the packing materials, and I got my hands on some more. One of the things that we didn't do the first time was try them in a translucent or like clear transparent type of blank. We did sort of on a round one. We used kind of clear and then added some opaque stuff, but it really kind of clouded it up. And I wanted to see what do we get if we just kind of shove this in some blanks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go for some pen blanks. I thought we could do that. And one of the things that I want to try is using the kind of Aurora effect. So it's using the blurple, but not adding any of that purple dye. It's more of that, I think I call it like an Aurora effect. What am I trying to say here? It's basically kind of like very translucent and more like a whitish color. And then, you know, with something behind it, then that blue and purple color shift will kind of pop out. So basically you're just using a very small amount of the blurple, throwing that in clear resin, and we'll have a kind of a dark background with this. So we should get some effects. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to try that out. The other thing I want to do is, and I don't know where the molds... I don't know what's going on anymore, guys. I lost everything. Oh, here they are. I wanted to go for a couple of like stopper handle type things using I think these are 1.5 inch. I wanted to go for some of those. Kind of wanted to make one that matched let me go get it. The one round one that we made beforehand. And actually what I want to do is it doesn't need to match color wise or anything like that. We're going for translucent, but I wanted to make a blank and I want to send up a mallet, like a carving mallet like I did. I'm not sure. I think Carl might have he probably doesn't have like the Carter and Sons tool that I use to put threads in, but I think he's got one from Chefware Kit. So I thought maybe we could see if Carl would like to make a mallet. So that's one of the blanks, and then just something else, you know, with like stoppers type size. So anyway, that's what we're up to today. Nothing super crazy or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of reinvestigate these cool packing materials because they're pretty fun. Now you get these in, my wife orders stuff from Thrive online. This is not no endorsement for them or anything like that. But it's like a market type of thing. She buys like certain types of grocery type items from this place. And there's other things that are like food oriented, and you get this type of kind of perforated, I don't know, material stuff. It's like basically kind of like just like the paper packing material stuff that you get, just, you know, with little holes in it. So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun, and we can see what we get. It'll be a little bit different because we're trying to be a little bit confined to transparent colors, but we can still do having people pick some colors. I think it's just going to probably be a little bit more like we're only going to get like one color. You know, what color do we want to tint the clear resin type thing? So just to let you guys know, if you want to get in on the colors, we'll have to kind of figure those out as we go. And, you know, one of them is going to be, I want to go for just blurple. So that one's already kind of taken. So super chats, I don't know how much interaction we're going to get with that, just to let you know before you do a super chat. We're not going to be putting like 50 billion colors together. It'll be kind of like one or two, something like that. So I just wanted to let you know. I hope everybody, you know, I just looked up. So, you know, we live in just on the eastern slope of the Sierra Nevadas. So, you know, right on the other side of California, and there are fires everywhere. We're literally surrounded. We have no fire danger around us really right now, but there's so many fires around us that it's been it's like 3 weeks where it has been absolutely horrid. Air quality conditions. It's just smoky. The sun's red every night, you know. And so I just want to say, you know, for the folks that are out on the kind of West Coast, I know that there's all kinds of other stuff happening all over the country, but the West Coast, man, you know, this is actually a really good reason to put a mask on anyway. You know, be careful with the air quality issues because, you know, it's tough to exercise, get outside and be breathing that stuff constantly. It gives you a headache and who knows what else. You could get sick from it. So just wanted to say, stay safe, everybody that's over here on the West Coast. It seems like there's a fire going and definitely smoke from, I mean, like Canada down to Tijuana. So ridiculous out here in the West. So just stay safe, everybody. I just want to say that. Yeah, there's no fires really on the other side, but there's other stuff that everybody else is dealing with. It's been nice. The temperatures have been a lot lower lately, so the shop is nice and cozy. Well, not cozy, but comfy. So anyway, let's stop real quick. I'm just going to scroll up a little ways. I know a few of you guys have been here for a while. So we got Frank and Christina's here. Nice. Anna's here. What's up? How's it going? Mike McEwen up in Canada. Wonder, how is Vancouver Island? Are you getting smoke up there too? I was looking at a smoke pattern thing, and it literally looked like everything from Canada all the way down to Mexico was just, there was a smoke cloud everywhere. And we got Doug's here. Hope you're healing up well, man. And Mark Stevens is here. Hodgepodge is here. Mark's here. Sweet. Rich is here. Julie's here. Nice. And Yak's here. What's up, man? The Dutch Turner. Sweet. All right. Well, welcome. And Chris, I just saw you too. And Pixie too. Everybody's here. So welcome to the stream. Hope everybody's doing good. So let's, I got a mold already in the oven. Oh, and I also want to mention my website's been down. I had it under, like if you went there yesterday, it was on, what do they call that? Like maintenance mode. There's been some weird, I think the server, they changed something on the server side of things, and it was causing a weird communication error between PayPal and my website. And so orders were going through, but PayPal wasn't letting my website know that the order went through, and it was automatically just canceling the order according to my website. So there was a little weird something going on, and so we just shut it down yesterday, and we got it all. We're still kind of working out exactly what the problem is, but we got everything under control now. So it's not a security issue or anything like that. It was just some stupid glitch bug thing that the server was having. So if you need to order stuff, we're back open. Everything's good to go. You don't have to worry about it, but we still are trying to work with the web host to try and nail down exactly why that was going on. So further investigation is going on, but like I said, you don't have to worry. It's not a security threat or anything like that. It was just a weird, something wasn't getting through. They changed a setting or something. I don't know. So just wanted to let you guys know that we are good to go. Orders are being taken right now. So I got a blank or a mold in the oven. And let's just start out with the blurple one. That'll make things easy. So I think I want to say that Aurora, and I'm actually going to go. It's actually if you just go to my channel homepage, I'm gonna get a link to the video. But if you just go to my homepage on YouTube, well, we're not right now, of course. Typically, you would see a video about Aurora and nebulous effects. So I'm going to pull up that video, put a link. It says, an easy way to create nebula Aurora effects in resin casting. I'm just going to pull up this. Hey, there I am. Pull up this video, get the link. It's been a crazy couple days. Of course, things have to happen to your website on your day off. So that was an exciting treat yesterday. And things are just getting crazy. So I copied it. Here's a link to it. I'll put a link. I'll probably put a thing on the screen here. But here's the link to that video. I should have probably watched that thing, but I can pull it up. I think what I found was with my Blurple, I think it was an 1/8 teaspoon per 200 grams of resin gives you that kind of Aurora effect. And oh, I know exactly. Okay, so it's been a while since I made the blanks. I call them my twilight blanks. That's what the type of blank that we're going to be making. But it's going to be a little bit different because we're going to have this packing material. And the way that interference powders and color change powders work, they really need something dark as like behind them to really make the light bounce off and give you that weird change of color. It has to do with the reflection or the refraction of light. And so if you just put, color shift powder in clear resin, it's a lot more muted effect. It is interesting, but it's a little bit more like kind of an Aurora Borealis look rather than like color shift kind of thing. Like if you add a little bit of that purple dye to the mixture, you really get this like, deep purple blue color shifting thing that we had on the little Star Wars burls that I was doing with the X-Wing. So just kind of wanted to mention that. We're going to go with the 1/8 teaspoon per 200 grams. And you can just adjust that to however much resin you're going to use. We're going to be putting 540 grams or so in this. This is my 6 blank mold. So it's going to be a lot more than that. We're going to probably use like a 1/4 teaspoon for the pen blanks that we do. But I just wanted to mention that. There's the link if you want to check it out. And I'm kind of guessing it's been a while since I've done that. I could pour through my notebooks or just watch that video, but I'm pretty sure it's an 1/8 teaspoon per 200 grams. But I would recommend checking that video out just to make sure that I'm not making things up. Could you dye this material? Yeah, probably. You could probably put it in cactus juice and dye it, or maybe just hit it with like an aniline dye. I don't know. You could probably get paper that's already a different color, kind of like it's just like construction, almost like construction paper kind of thing, cardboard thin paper. So yeah, maybe, Kim. I think that the problem is if you went the cactus juice route, that could be messy and a pain, kind of. You'd have to like fully dry everything off, then bake it to lock it in. If you went with an aniline dye, it could, once you put it in resin, then the resin could act like as a solvent and make it kind of bleed out into the resin. So it's kind of problematic. You're better off if you can get paper that's like this, that's already a different color. That's what I would try to do if you could. What are my favorite places? I buy most of my stuff, dyes and micas from Turner's Warehouse. They have eye candy pigments. They've got Caster's Choice. They've got, I'm not sure what the name of it is yet. It's the P-Town Subby micas. So they got 3 different lines of micas. So that's more than enough. They got all the colors that I need for mica powders. And then you can buy Alumilite dyes as well as the, I just couldn't think of the name, the Divine Pigments dyes from them. So, I mean, at that point, you got pretty much everything covered. And then the color shift, the blurple stuff, I sell on my website. So just to give you an idea of where you can get some stuff. So let's get some gloves out, and I'm going to quit yakking. No offense, yak. I'm going to quit yakking at you guys. And let's make some blanks. I think it'll be kind of fun today. I like testing things out, and it's nice to be able to do it on a live stream. I'm going to do it anyway, so we may as well fire it up and see what we're up to. See what's happening here, all right? So let me get my little notebook out. This is my special one for the live stream experiments. The Duncan junk, if you will. So I'm going to switch to the other camera view real quick. And let's see here. Yak like that. Let's see, I'm going to go to this view for now. So I have a little notebook, and what I'm writing down in here is, most of you guys know, but I'll go through it for anybody that's new or hasn't seen what I do. This, I think, is actually one of the best things that you can possibly do for yourself if you're getting started with resin casting, for sure. But, I mean, really, no matter what you're doing, it's not a bad idea if you're just starting turning, to have a little notebook and be like, oh, I was trying to turn a pen today and this happened. Don't do that again. It's, if you're in school, you keep notes. Why not do that for anything that you're doing? But when I started finally taking notes, and what I write in here is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the date. And we're going to do, so today we're doing packing materials. This one's a little bit different than what I would do normally, but, I just kind of give an idea of the theme of what this episode is about, packing materials. And so for number 1, the first casting that we're going to do, what I'm going to put here is we're going to try a blurp. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a name, blurple. That's what we're going for. Maybe Aurora, just so I know what I was trying to kind of like a title for this. I'm going to write the mold down. So I call this my 6 blank mold. That's what's in the oven. And it's about a 5x6, and you can get 6 pen blanks that are 5 inches long out of that. It'll 5x6, and it'll give you, with the amount of resin I use, about an inch thick. And then today we're going to be using Slow Set Clear. Did you see, guys? Alumilite came out with another resin type. So they just came out with ACC Plus, which is like UV blocking. And then they came out with the Deep Pore Resin River stuff, which I really want to get my hands on that. One thing that I was looking up the specs on that, and I think it's going to be a good turning resin. I don't think it has any UV protection in it. That's one different, one thing to note. I don't know what base it is, if it's a urethane or an epoxy. I want to say I think it's an epoxy, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But the viscosity, this is the problem that I have with Amazing Clearcast. I cannot stand how thick that stuff is. And I don't really like the problem I have with that. I know you can heat it up and it'll thin it out. The problem is what I want for a slow setting resin is a very long open time usually. So heating it up is going to shorten that. So if I'm doing color swirls, Alumilite Clear slow set is the way to go, I think. But so I'm interested to try the deep pour. So make sure if you want to try that stuff out, use my link. And if you haven't used my code ZAC10 at alumilite.com, if you enter that when you check out, you save 10% on your order. So not a bad way to save some money. All right, so we're going to put the amount of resin total that we're going to be using here, and it's 540 grams for that mold. And again, that'll give me an inch thick deep pour. And then we're going clear resin, and we're just going to add some of that blurple. And for anybody that doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about with this blurple thing, it's a blue to purple color shift powder. I guess it's this camera. And it's the one I really like, this specific. There's lots of different color shift powders out there that you can find, but I really like this one, so I decided I'm just going to buy it in bulk, and I'm going to sell it on my website. I like the effects that combination gives you. So I just call it blurple. All right, so we're just going to add that. And again, what I'm using is let's see here, 1/8 teaspoon, and I actually use a measuring spoon, 1/8 per 200 grams. So we got 540. So, and you could go, if we want to get really crazy, I can say, 1 divided by 8 divided by 200. That'll give me a number, and then multiply that by 540. And we're looking at 0.33, 0.34. So like a third teaspoon, something like that. So it's a little bit more than a quarter, a little bit less than a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my quarter teaspoon, and I'm just going to pile it up. We'll just kind of, wing it, but I'd rather be kind of probably under than over on this. So we're going to go a heavy 1/4 teaspoon of blurple, and that's it. We're not adding dyes. We're not doing anything else. It's just the powder on this one. A really awesome looking purple effect that'll give you different colors, a little bit of blue, purple. Add a little purple dye to that and kind of load up more of it. That'll give you a really cool, and that's what we've usually been doing. Oh, we got super chats. Look at all these super chats. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I love the little pear guys. Those are my favorites. I love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. So when we get to the colors, down the road, one of them is going to be probably just like a transparent type of color. So we'll let you guys pick some colors. Try and get you guys, some colors to choose, but it's not going to be like a big color mixture thing because we want to keep these transparent. And this one, unfortunately, I want to just try this blurple thing out and see what happens. So that's all I have written down here. Now with this notebook though, where this really benefits you is to, keep a record of what you did. And then the best thing, and I know this is the hardest part, but if you go back in and let's say that everything went perfect, or maybe you're using a new mold this time and you measured more resin than you needed, and if you just deduct 20, like keep notes after the fact, like, oh, did I have a problem this time? Don't do this because and so what's going to happen is if you keep a record of that without having it, and the problem is, yes, you can gain experience by doing it, but if you keep the notebook, then you can go back and make sure you're not relying on your memory, which is terrible. At least mine is. All right. So when I started using a notebook, the repeatability and the time it took to get something, that I was a specific technique or outcome would shorten significantly from where I was doing it. I probably went 2 years just making, doing all these experiments, and I didn't know what I actually used half the time. Wasn't keeping track of it, wasn't being very consistent. And when I started doing this, that's when I got really good and consistent, results, as well as getting better quicker. So I really recommend get a notebook and keep this stuff written down. And I use, this isn't so important, but for me it is, I use a digital pen that literally records this, and I can digitize it, so it's saved digitally. I have to save it to my phone from my pen, but problem is, if for some reason this got lost, burned, you know, whatever, thrown away, all of those notes would be gone. So I like to keep it on a digital pen and then make sure that I upload that at the end of the day. And they're kind of expensive. I don't know if it's a great idea for a lot of people, but for me, it's totally well worth it. All right, so unicorns make terrible pets. What did I walk in on in the chat? All right, so I'm going to move to this view so you can still see what I'm doing up in the corner here, but you get a closer view. Let me flip this little doohickey around, and let me also plug in my camera so that I can make sure that we don't run out of camera battery. There we go. Didn't mess anything up. So we got our mold. I've been cooking this for a little bit. I want to get this thing up to around, a lot of people ask me what temperature, and it's funny because it actually kind of depends on what the temperature in the shop is, where I set my oven, but I have a little you know, temperature gauge in here, and it seems to work best for about how long it takes me to get things set up, to have that thing set around 150 Fahrenheit. And then and I finally got smart, and I actually took the temperature of the molds at about the temperature that I like. And it actually turns out that when the molds are about 130, that's about perfect for me. So the problem is you can't really put it helps to have the oven a little higher than that, because it's going to take some time to heat these up. But somewhere, your molds somewhere between 125 and probably like 160 Fahrenheit is probably a good range. Same goes for silicone. So just to kind of let you guys know about that. It is nice to heat them up, and what that does, it's not that big of a deal, but it does help a little bit with the you know, kick off the curing process, but it also kind of will keep the corners from kind of sucking in, so it'll kind of keep your square molds especially kind of square in there. All right, okay, so we got everything here. I'm gonna go get a big cup. Recently did some Blurple pine cones, so I'm gonna use this is a Blurple cup already. And I just reuse these quart mixing. The paint mixing cups are great. You can just pop these things out. You could reuse that if you wanted. It's probably not going to be that amazing, so I'm just going to toss it. And you got your cup ready to rock. One thing I will mention about doing that, though, if you're going to peel that stuff out, a lot of times you're going to have some little crusty things. I don't know if you can see that. See, there's little, you know, thin pieces of resin. If you're doing a dead clear casting, I would either, if it's really important and you don't want any little weird specks, I would just go grab a new cup for something like that. In this case, we're going to be adding stuff to it, not a big deal. But sometimes I like to go in with a little, it's actually just a ruler, and just kind of scrape around the edges and then blow out the cup. Like I said, I think there's a little bit of junk down on the bottom. I'm going to blow this out real quick, just so we don't have any little crusties. Shouldn't hurt anything, but in this case, but you know, why worry about it? Jen's here, what's up? How's it going? All right, so I've zeroed my scale out. We're going for, let's see here, 280 times 2, I think. 2, I don't know. 540 divided by 2. 270, that was close. So I'm actually even going to write that little note, 270 times 2. All right, so we got 1 squirt. I don't know where we're at. Let's see, 156. We want, 270. We got a ways to go here. My brain is not on correctly today. Oh, 275. That's okay. We'll just add 275 of the part B. If I really wanted to be, well, you know, in this case, I'm gonna dump out 5. You really want to watch out pouring back into the full jug. In this case, I think you really don't want to do this. You don't want to pour it back in the jug. So I'm going to waste a little bit of this because I really want my measurements to be on, because it can possibly affect that blurple. So I've dumped out 3.7. Next time I'll be a little bit more careful when I'm... And you really want to make sure that you're not off when you start pouring the second one in, obviously. All right, so we've zeroed that out. We're down to 270 now. I got rid of about 5 ounces, or 5 grams. So now we need 270 of part B. Okay, with a little bit cooler temperatures, the B, your B side of Alumilite clear and clear slow, it'll thicken up a little bit more. So, you know, when it was 85 degrees in the shop, this would be thinner. And that's how it is with any resin, you know, and pretty much any liquid. The warmer the temperature, and some things are affected more than others, but, you know, when it's a warmer ambient temperature, when that resin is at rest, a warmer temperature, it'll thin out a little bit more. So in the winter, this stuff can thicken up quite a bit sometimes. I find the clear slow isn't as bad as the regular clear. That one seemed to thicken up a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if things have just changed with my storing it or what, but because originally we didn't have a heater in the shop all winter overnight, which was not the smartest idea. But so all you got to do is just warm it up. You can put the jug in like a warm water bath. Make sure that, you know, everything's closed down. Resin and water don't mix, but keep your jug closed and warm it up, and it'll thin out. You'll be fine, no problems. All right, so it's been a while. I haven't streamed for like a week. Oh man. So we're gonna mix this up in our cup. Hey, Melvin, thanks. Yeah, Blurple, man. We're doing some Blurple. I wanted to try the Blurple, and this is slightly different than the one that we've been doing Blurple but with adding adding the purple dye to it. And I really like that one as well. However, that would be a little bit more opaque. Today we're trying to go for some kind of translucent and transparent colors with this packing material. And so one of my, I have blanks, and you know, like on my website where you're buying the blanks, I call it Twilight, but it's kind of like an Aurora Borealis looking effect. If you don't add any dyes, if you just put, you know, kind of smaller amounts of the Blurple and clear resin, kind of gives you that Aurora effect where it's a little bit more muted. But it'll pop a little bit more with something dark like this behind it. So I'm just curious to see how that works out. So that's going to be the first one today. We'll just make a batch of pen blanks with that. And then we're going to do some kind of handle size blanks, and probably another pen blank. We'll have to come up with something here for another pen blank batch. But it should be pretty fun. All right, now I was talking about that ratio for the Aurora effect. It's a little bit different than what I would do for, you don't have to be as, I have found that the problem is if you add way too much Blurple to clear, it starts to turn milky, very milky white, and it's not very awesome. So I found something, a ratio of resin to powder, Blurple powder, that I liked the effect. It was a little, you know, no matter what you do, that stuff's going to add a little bit of kind of milkiness to it, but it's more of that kind of Aurora milky look that I kind of like. So we're going for a very specific ratio, 1/8 teaspoon of this stuff to 200 grams is the ratio per 200 grams. So we've kind of adjusted that. It's going to be about 1/3 teaspoon. So I got 1/4, and I don't have 1/3 teaspoon. So I'm going to just go a little bit heavy on 1/4. We're going to kind of be a little bit over that 1/4. And that's going to be, that'll be fine. That'll be, I'm going to estimate 1/3. That should be fine. I'm going to mix it in here. And so you get this kind of cloudy effect, but in a pen blank. And I would say that 200 grams or 1/8 teaspoon per 200 grams. This is going to be for pen blanks. It's a very specific amount for that. It's going to be in a thicker, bigger blank. It's going to be more cloudy, but by the time you drill out the center of a pen blank, I probably should have said that at the beginning. I kind of forgot about that. But once you drill that down and turn it, it's a very thin amount. And so you want kind of a specific amount of this blurple stuff for pen blanks. So I'm hoping that this kind of looks cool. Hopefully I did all that right. I'm kind of going off of memory, and this is why I tell you to make a notebook. I have a video, but I didn't look it up. So, I'm just kind of winging it here too, but I think I have that right. All right, so I'm just going to kind of wait. Sometimes some of your mica powders, it looks like you've got it, nice and stirred up. And then if you just let it sit for a minute, you'll notice that some unmixed powder may float to the top. So it's good to just let your cup sit for just a second. We got plenty of time. And just, if you notice any unmixed mica powders, then just, give it another stir and you'll be good to go. Otherwise, it's usually not that big of a deal, but, it can just kind of, you don't really want a big clump of powder in there. All right, so can you guys see what's going on in there? I don't know if it's picking it up or not. It's kind of an interesting, it's just it's a little bit different than the other. If you add that purple dye, it changes the whole look of it. You don't get that kind of white cloudiness, it's just purple, but it shimmers like crazy and you get different color hues. Blues and purples pop out of there. Definitely one of my favorite mixtures. All right, so, and in this case, we're not going to get any kind of, one of the things that I liked about this packing material is if you're mixing different colors together, it gives you this really interesting, it really mixed the colors up. It was a good color swirl kind of thing because it's kind of distributing the colors throughout these little, things in there. And it was just an interesting kind of, I don't know. I really liked the effect. It was pretty cool. In this case, we're just going for, we're just going to shove some of this stuff in here and it's going to be in the background. Now I'm trying to get this stuff to really, I want to kind of, it's this, I don't know. The first one seemed like it opened up a little bit more. I don't know. So we're just going to kind of try and give this, get this to be kind of spread out a little bit. Trying to anyway here. Stuff keeps ripping before I get it pulled apart though. I think the best idea is just to kind of crumple it. I don't know. We're just learning, We're just figuring things out as we go. I'm just going to kind of crumple it. I think that'll work okay. And then we're just going to basically dump this on top. I'm just trying to kind of, I'm not really going for any kind of color swirling effect or anything. I just want to saturate as much of this stuff as possible when I was pouring it. That's why I was pouring it around. All right. So we got that. I'm going to kind of poke this around in here. Just kind of push this stuff down in, get it saturated. And in this case, the resin's really going to kind of saturate this paper and harden it up. It becomes very hard in the blanks. I think it'd be cool if we could find some black, possibly, of this paper stuff. All right, so I'm going to call that good. Pop open. I'm actually going to go, I have to make a batch of blanks later. Possibly. Depends on how many we do today. Oh, no. All right, so we're going to put it in this front guy. Pressure pot. this thing tightened down. Okay, nice and evenly. And then we'll add 70 psi to this guy. We'll be good to go. Now, always make sure that you read the instructions and the max amount that your pot can go to, and do not ever go above that. That can make them dangerous. But this brand, what I use is CA Technologies. I got links to where you can get those on my website. CA Technologies, the max PSI, it says so right on the lid there, is 80 PSI, the max working pressure. And frankly, I don't even go to 80. I go to 70, that's plenty for what I do. If you're using a Harbor Freight, I wouldn't recommend going over 50. Most of the cheap ones, 50 is probably your max, maybe 60. And some of them, it just depends. Don't ever exceed the max for your pot, though. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Packing material, brown paper or card? I don't know. It's just, I have no clue what the difference is. It's probably just paper. It's like the same stuff that, people pack, the paper stuff that comes in packing things. All right, so let's go back to this guy. What did Mert do? What's going on here? I'm not sure what happened here. Airmail? Oh, did you get a... Oh man, you got a piece come off? That's no fun. All right, so we're gonna do, let's see here. We got how many super chats? Oh man. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, I told you guys, this might be a tough one to get all these things going. So I have, what I wanna do, we made this blank. Let me get on this one. We made this blank, the last time that we did packing materials. And so what I'd like to do is, in my head, I'm thinking, let's make a handle blank, pair it with this, and we'll make it in Carl, and we'll send it up to Carl Jacobson, see if he can make a mallet out of it. So let's come up with, trying to think here. Now, one thing that we can do is we can keep it transparent, but we could add slight, like something like a glitter or something. Effect maybe. I don't know. I don't know how well that's going to work, because we're going to just basically shove paper down in there. So I don't know about I don't know. We'll have to kind of see how this all kind of goes. But I think we could probably get away with maybe a couple of different transparent colors in one of these guys. But we want to make something that's transparent, and we want to see this paper that'll maybe kind of go with this blank here. So we got Frank is up first. Let's put Frank and Julie together. All right. You guys come up with some sort of a combination for this pipe that will be a good handle, and it can be totally different. I don't really care. Either way, we're sending it to Carl. But if you want to, you can put your heads together. Come up with a nice maybe two colors, or maybe, toss out some ideas, and maybe I can kind of help point the direction of this. But we'll just shove this down in there and then pour some resin in. All right, so that's going to be the handle blank. We've got another one here. And I think I might have one more of those pipes. I do. So we're going to do 3 at a time here. So we got Anna. And I'm going to have Anna pick one color, and it's going to be transparent, totally transparent. So like a transparent blue or purple, or whatever color. And we're just going to do that one color with some packing material. All right. And then for this last one, yay, it's Friday. Yeah. Thanks, Paul. I know, Friday. Friday's actually my Monday, kind of. Yesterday was my day off. So for this last one, let's put Paul and Melvin together. And what I want you guys to do, we're going to be very careful about this. We're going to make it clear. we're going to shove in the paper, and I want you guys to pick 2 colors that what we're going to do is try and make them somewhat translucent. Maybe add just a very tiny bit of mica or something. Maybe we could just go with like a solid dye, but we're going to add a tiny, tiny bit and just see what we can get. What kind of effects can we get? All right, so you guys pick 2 colors. And let's see, I got a... Okay, so you guys are already working on it. We got, let's see, Julie and Frank. Pink. I have a nightmare to delete. Where's the troll comment? I don't know where the troll comment. Oh, is there a like an actual comment somewhere? Where's that at? Oh, Julie has left the building. Oh no. Let me I don't know if I can, I don't think I can go into anything with comments. All right, so I should probably, I need to write down some notes already because we'll try and wait and see if Julie comes back. If not, I don't know. Let's see if maybe if Julie doesn't come back, let's maybe have Jen pick a color for her. You and Frank can kind of come up with the first one. So number 2 is going to be handles. We're just going to, or they, I may cut them up into stoppers. Handles, and we're using the 1.5 inch. These are 1.5 inch PVC pipes. I have a link on my tools I use page where I get the clear PVC pipes. And we're using slow set clear again. What's the finest glitter? Yeah, I have like the Stardust, the micro Stardust. It's probably the finest thing. Yeah, that's definitely the micro Starlight is what I call it. That's definitely the finest stuff that I have. And so let's see here. We had, I think, is Anna still here too? Dang, we're picking people that may not be here anymore. Yeah, so there's a good amount of copper in this. There's also some like clear with the purple glitter and some lime green, I think. Maybe even some other colors. Maybe even blood red, possibly. I don't know. I don't exactly know what's on the inside, but like I said, you don't have to necessarily, it doesn't have to be the same, to match it or anything. And there's no micro Starlight in this. This is the purple stuff that I pulled out in there. It's the metal flake, purple metal flake. It's pretty fine too. I don't think I see Anna either. Jeez. That's okay though. So let's see, if Anna's not here, because I think Anna was going to get one color. I'm gonna actually put that to Ray because he's sending me some stuff that we can play with for the patterns in resin. So he was awesome enough to send that out. So if Anna's not here, then Ray, you get to pick one transparent color to go for the second pipe. Okay. So number 1 is going to be Frank and Julie, maybe Jen. Number 2 is Anna, maybe Ray. Number 3 is, and so the first one, again, first one is Frank and Julie, and you guys are picking the one for Carl that's going to go with this blank. The other 2 are just, we're going to make, either stoppers or handle blanks out of it, but they don't have anything to do with Carl. Anna, and then Paul and, let's see here, Paul and Melvin We're going to pick a couple colors. All right, so Melvin, orange. I'm going to use a clear base on you guys's, Paul and Melvin, and then I'm just going to add some colors to it. Could be whatever. Sparkles the resin Turner's sawdust. Yeah, you guys can, yeah, we need a color too. That's not bad. We could just do, yeah, like micro starlight and then like, you know, a color, transparent color. That'd be kind of cool. You should be able to see some of that glitter. Man glitter. Julie's here now. Oh man. Oh, she's throwing a wrench in everything. I'll let the three of you figure it out. I'm staying away. And so let's see here. Melvin and Paul. Basically, you guys can pick whatever because it's just I'm gonna use mostly clear, and we're just gonna add very, very tiny drops of some color in there. Oh, so I guess Julie probably doesn't even know. So I gotta. So what we're gonna do, Julie, is this, and you might have heard before, but I'm thinking about giving. I'm gonna send this blank with one that we make up to Carl and see if he wants to maybe make a mallet, or I mean, realistically, he can do whatever he wants. But I was just thinking maybe he'd like to make a mallet out of it. So we're gonna have you and Frank pick a couple of colors. They have to be transparent. So you could pick, you know, they were talking, and since you weren't here, we kind of had Jen step in. We were maybe thinking maybe one transparent color, like, you know, like totally see-through orange with, you know, some micro starlight or something. Frank, or, you know, you guys need to kind of figure that out. So that's what is going on here. No problem. Yeah, I don't know what it was with the comments. Maybe it did show up and then it got kind of deleted by YouTube quickly somehow. You gotta, I don't know, man. Maybe you imagined it. Let's see, who else we got? So Anna's not here. So Ray, is Ray here? Oh man, I don't know who's here. Ray Gonzalez, calling Ray Gonzalez. If you're here, give me a color. Micro starlight and orange. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, YouTube is kind of glitchy lately. Every time I set up a stream and I do them like ahead of time, I put in the thumbnail, I make my own and upload it, and it never, in my dashboard thing, it doesn't show up as the new one. It's always the old one. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Orange is going to be totally transparent. We're just going to add a drop of Alumilite orange dye. Oh, racist political comments. Huh. I don't know. Hopefully it's not on my channel. I don't really get too many weird ones. I have everything like kind of locked down to where if it's even sketchy, it doesn't get shown. I have to approve it. So, okay, so let's go with that. Paul and Melvin, we're going to go with orange let's do that. Orange with micro starlight. Let's just, because otherwise it's not exactly what I had in mind, but let's just do that so we can move forward. We got one down. And let's see here. Yellow with pink and micro glitter. No. Oh, okay, so yellow is one of them, and then pink and micro glitter. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to do yellow. I don't know how that's going to work out exactly, but we'll have to see. Again, these are all going to be transparent, totally see-through. So it'll be a kind of an experiment. And then pink with micro thrown in there. Okay? Let's see here. And then we just need Ray. There he is, Ray. We're having you step in. Pick one color. Pick a color that's going to be translucent. We're going to shove a bunch of this stuff in there. You're going to be stepping in for Anna. She's not here anymore, but since you're so graciously sending me out some stuff to test out for the patterns, I thought we'd let you pick a color for this one. Step in for Anna while she's out. Julie's good with orange or yellow. Okay, we'll go with yellow. With yellow, and then we'll do the pink and micro for that one. And so we just need Ray to pick a color, any color. I wish I had the Jeopardy soundtrack. What will it be? Sometimes it's a lot easier if we just be like, hey, pick a color, and we're just going to throw them all together, and they're all, whatever kind of colors. This gets a little bit tough when we're like, no, but you can pick this, but it has to be this. I know. I realize. Not very cool. Not cool. All right, so I'm going to get things started here. We got 3 of these tubes. I want to say that each one takes, let's see here, 2-inch. I'm trying to remember. You know what? I got some notes on. Hold up real quick. I got notes on these real quick. Mallet handles. So 220. Yeah. So to fill this up, pretty full, is going to be about 220 grams. And then I'm going to be using these little silicone stopper doohickeys from Turner's Warehouse. So you can get these guys at turnerswarehouse.com. I have a link down in the show notes to Turner's Warehouse. Just look for PVC or look for silicone plug. And they've got all kinds of sizes from like 1/2 inch all the way up to 4 inch. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to spray these guys with Stoner mold release. And I'm going to do that kind of behind the camera. I like spraying things kind of away from, like in the corner, kind of, because the overspray kind of gets on everything. So just a little bit of a puff in each one. You don't have to get too crazy. You don't want it running down the sides either, really. It just doesn't need to be that much. Usually. And then we'll just plug these guys up. Get in there. Get in there. Come on. Okay, we got one. We got 2. Let's see here. Ray. Yeah, Ray gets to pick one translucent color. Well, transparent, like, I think. I don't know how to make it kind of... I guess we could add just a very tiny bit of mica powder to make it kind of translucent, but I think it's easier just to pick a dye color and just, put a pinprick of dye in there and just give it a tint. Christina's out. Oh, I hear you. It's so late over there. Thanks for joining the fun. I appreciate it. Okay, and then I'm just going to shove this stuff down in here. A little bit. I don't know. See how that goes. I might do a little bit less on these guys. Try and kind of twist it up a little bit maybe. Try and get it to open up. Yeah, 1 a.m. Woo! Christina's the night owl. Sleep tight. All right, so that's that'll be kind of good. We'll give Carl the crazy one. We want a little bit more of that kind of filtering in his, and then this one will kind of go medium light as well. I kind of like the idea. Actually, one thing we could do is this stuff keeps kind of ripping. Didn't seem to have that. I don't know if I was just not paying attention to it the first time or what, but let's see if we can. I'm just going to kind of rip this a little bit and just kind of stick like a shred of it down in there, maybe a couple of those. You could do, how you load all these things. There's a million different ways you could do this, but we're just going to kind of give it a little bit of an effect. Oh, that didn't work. That's not a good way to load it. Rip it right out of there. Okay. So we'll go a little bit light on these other two. We'll do one more like pin blank brick. Got lots of that stuff, so. Okay, so we got 3. We got 1, 2, and 3. We didn't get one. Okay, so I'm going to go with, yeah, I know it's not too durable. The first time we did it, though, it seemed like we had a little bit better. It was a little more durable, I think. All right, so I'm going to pick, let's see here. It's kind of a brownish paper, so let's go with red. Let's try a red dye. Okay. Now, the way that Alumilite dyes work, most of Alumilite's dyes are totally transparent, like think stained glass. Like it adds color, but it's entirely see-through. Some of them are not, and some of them are a lot darker than others and make it seem like it's a pretty, technically it's transparent, but it's so dark that you really can't see through it. So it's kind of translucent almost, but it has no shimmer to it. So your green, blue, and purple, those 3 are going to be dark. You have to add a tiny amount, and you're going to get a lot of color, hue. Your red, yellow, ocean blue, orange, usually. I'm trying to think which other colors they have. Orange, yeah. Red, orange, yellow, and ocean blue. Those things are pretty transparent. Like you could load up quite a bit and it's still good. So in general though, you really only need literally like a pinprick of color to add color to your, to something like this. Now, the ones that are not transparent are white, black, I think brown really isn't, and your fluorescents really aren't, they're kind of translucent to opaque. All right. So just want to kind of give you that rundown. And then the divine pigments, these things are opaque for the most part. Totally opaque. So here we go. So we got 220 total resin for each one of these. And for the first one, we're going to do 2 colors, yellow and pink. And so we're just going to split this into 110 and 110, 50-50. And we're going to go with yellow. I can just add a drop of yellow. It's not going to overtake anything. And then pink. Pink, what I'm going to do for pink is we are going to add a microscopic dot of red. And that should give us a pink tone. Tiniest of tiny pinpricks of red should do the trick. Plus we're going to add micro starlight. Okay. So for the second one, we're going with 1 color, red. I'm just going to add a pinprick of red. Mix the whole 220 up though. It's just going to be red with this stuff in it. And then for the third one, it's going to be orange with micro starlight. So we can just add, a pinprick of orange or so. And I highly recommend, even though some of these are super transparent, I recommend just adding like a pinprick, like a toothpick amount. Just kind of barely touch that and then add it into the cup and mix it in. And what you can do that way is sneak up on the tone, the color that you want. The very tiniest drop is going to just add, it's going to impart color no matter what. And so if you're going for super, super light, you have to literally add a pinprick. Tiny, tiny little pinprick. Okay, so we'll get in here and I'll show you what I'm doing here. But we're going to do a pinprick orange and micro. Okay, all right, so we got our stuff set up here. We got our notebook rolling. I'm going to need lots of toothpicks because we're going to be doing lots of colors. So this is going to be 660 grams total that I need to mix up. So each one's going to hold 220. We're going to do red in the second one. We're going to do yeller and pink, which is going to be a very, very, very tiny pinprick. Now, another option is the fluorescent pink. The problem is, like I was saying, that stuff is really kind of translucent, and I think I'd rather just go with a tiny pinprick of red instead. Just seems like a better idea. And then we'll add micro starlight to that. And I sell the micro starlight. It's a super fine kind of starlight glitter. It's like a holographic glitter. And so this one's a good one that, you know, if you're trying to do like spacey things and look like there's a little star field, those are good. And then I also sell the regular starlight. This one's the chonky starlight. I like this. This actually is what I put with my those twilight blanks. It's usually that thin mixture of blurple with some starlight glitter in there. That's what I technically consider a twilight blank. In this case, I didn't really want to mess with that glitter though. I just wanted to see what the blurple looked like with the packing material. All right, so we got our micro starlight, we got our orange, we got our red. Let's get some gloves on. Now, I usually don't put PVC pipes in the oven. You just really don't usually need that. And I don't know what temperature they start to kind of deform, but it's not, there's no corners to suck in or anything like that. I don't really find I have any issues that the oven, unless it was really, really cold out or something, you know, just don't really need to do that. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to mix up, let's see here, 660. I don't think we're going to do it that way. We're going to mix up different cups of 220. I don't really have really 660 is more than a 32 ounce cup. So we're just going to mix up 3 different cups of clear. Still going to have to kind of break some of these off, I think. That one's only going to be one color. So there's 2 of them that are just going to be one color. That'll be simple in a cup. And then this one is going to be 2 cups. We'll split it off. But we're going to start with separate cups. It's really kind of confusing, but I'm going to add 110 grams of part A and then 110 grams of part B in each one of these 3 cups. This one is going to be broken off because we got 2 different colors we're putting together. So hopefully that made sense. Let's get rolling, I think. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to mess around with getting anything. Water and resin, not good mixtures. So I don't think I'd worry about it too much. It's fine. What I was saying though is this stuff seems a little bit more harder to kind of, it doesn't want to stay. But other ones that I've had, the last time we did this, it worked pretty good. So, I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. So, 110 grams of part A. And I'm going to add the part A to each cup first. Just so they're a little bit, you know, they're setting up around the same times. I don't know. I guess you don't necessarily need to do that. I do that so that color swirl things work out a little bit better, but doesn't matter. 110. I'll just do it the way I normally do it. So 110 there. Just the part A. Oh, did I go over? Huh. 111, huh? I'm going to take a little bit out. I want to make sure that I got 110 in each one of these guys. Okay. My scale is freaking out on me. Looks good. I'm actually going to turn this thing off for a second because sometimes when my scale starts going, all over the place, it's like it needs to just think about what it's done. So I just turn it off for a little bit and turn it back on. Usually that kind of clears up any weirdness. Now, if you're having problems with if your scale is constantly changing and moving around, two things. One thing that I noticed, I don't have a fan blowing anywhere near my scales because it can make it fluctuate. It's going to move it around sometimes. The other thing is if your scale is not flat and level, it can really kind of screw with the weight thing, especially if it's a very fine measurement. So I got 0.1 grams which is a pretty accurate, we're at a pretty low amount here. High accuracy kind of thing. So it can kind of mess around if it's not level. In this case, the problem was I forgot to turn the thing off overnight. So it's just like freaking out on me. All right, so 110. $105. 108. 109.6. Oh man, I think I went over. That's okay. 110. Okay, so we're going to put these guys back on. Now we're going to go add our part B. And we got a lot of things going on this one, so I'm going to get my pressure pot open and ready so I can just slam these guys home. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Again, the temperature is only 76 degrees in my shop right now, which is pretty darn cool, low temperature. So we should have a good amount of time to work with this stuff. But it's always better to get things, you don't want to be fumbling around with things if it's kind of complicated. So I've zeroed it out. We're going to add 110 grams of part B. My pumps are a little bit kind of full. Sometimes one problem a lot of people have, if you're only doing this, using the pumps, doing resin casting, like let's say you only do this on the weekends, these pumps can be a really big pain because they kind of crust up, especially like the part B. So you may not really want to use pumps depending on, the frequency. If you're doing stuff daily, the pumps work pretty good usually. But even this one's pretty clogged up here. You can soak them in acetone to clean them out a little bit, but personally I prefer just getting a new one. But it looks like there's like a shortage of pumps. Like you can only order one at a time or something on Alumilite's website. So you may just say, screw the pumps, I'm just gonna pour it out of the jug. I do find for Alumilite Clear, I like the pumps a little bit better, but Okay, so we got 110 in there. Yeah. Definitely need to switch this pump out. Okay, actually one more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, 110 in the last one. Zero that guy out. It's not the resin isn't that thick. It's the pump is kind of clogged, so this is just going slow. Slow as you go. Oh, I went way over on that one. Whoops, I wasn't counting. Oopsies, so I got to add, let's see here. Dang. I went way over. I gotta add 5 grams. Kind of messed that up. Sorry, guys. I went 5 grams over what I was supposed to put in there. I'm just fixing it up. We're okay now. It'll be okay. Okay, so we got our stir sticks here. We're gonna mix each one of these guys up, then add all of our stuff. So I'm gonna actually scoot down a little bit so you guys are, I'm kind of right in front of the camera here. Let's see here. Yeah, I need to go on a timeout. I'm telling you. Well, that was my fault that when the pump things are super slow and clogged up, then my brain starts thinking about other stuff mid-pump. Oh no, sorry to hear that, Pixie. Oh, that sounds horrible. Okay, we got one down. You made it to the live. Welcome. Woo! We're just making some packing material blanks today. Getting a little nuts. We're getting a little nuts, guys. So we already did one batch of pen blanks, and we used the color shift powder and shoved some packing material in. I got this, we were playing with, we've already done some of these, but we didn't do anything that was transparent or translucent kind of, you know. So I thought, let's do some different stuff. I have a couple ideas. Let's try some things out and see what we get. You know, because the last time we did it, it was mostly opaque stuff. It was pretty opaque, everything that we made. And we got pretty cool results, but I wanted to see, I don't know why I didn't even try one batch with transparent, so we're doing it today. Does your clock, the clock starts when you add the part B, really. You know, the minute that the molecules of A and B start touching each other is really when the clock starts. I don't really use a clock anymore. I use temperature, but yeah, you know, it's going to start reacting with each other the minute they touch each other. So yeah, you can't, don't wait until the end of mixing. Now, in the past, I have actually done that where I was using a clock as my kind of guide, and just the way that I was doing things, it just made sense because it took me about the same amount of time. So in some cases, you know, depending on how you're trying to calculate things, that may work, but according to the resin, it doesn't care when you start the clock. It starts the clock when it touches each other. And then, you know, if you're waiting to get a specific temperature or time to pour, I usually use an infrared thermometer to tell the temperature. That's a much more consistent way to do that kind of thing. All right, so we're going to add, and we're going to go, like I said, with the pinpricks. I'm going to add, let me get on camera, not much. Orange, you got a little bit of leeway. It doesn't have to be like the tiniest amount with orange. But hopefully you can see how much is on there. Not, I mean, literally like a pinprick kind of thing, right? So we're going to add this to our resin. I'm just going to kind of wiggle it around in there. Okay, you saw how much we put on there of dye. Doesn't look like much yet, but it's going to tint the resin. You know, so we got some orange. Now that's not enough for me, and this is what I'm talking about with sneaking up on it. So I'm going to do another one. Not much. Orange tends to be, you have a lot more before it starts to like darken up or anything like that. Orange, I probably could have just added a drop of orange in this and it would have been fine. But I recommend, until you really know what to expect, I really recommend just going with, you know, a pinprick. And sneak up until you get to that shade, the darkness, the color that you want in your cup. And you also have to watch out. If you're making something that's very thin, whatever the cup looks like is really not representative of what the end result. Now this is fairly representative of what a 2-inch or 1.5-inch pipe is going to be. So I'm happy with that color now. We just need to add a little bit of micro starlight. But if you're making something like a pen blank, which you're going to, you know, drill out the center and then turn down to a tiny, tiny thin piece, or like pendants or something very tiny, then you need to, you know, see what, like one way to check is like what does it look like on the stick if you pull just a little out. You need to look at it from that representation, because there's less resin and less dye for the light to go through. All right, so I've just added like a little scoop of this micro starlight. Let's see how that does. Really, that might have been actually a little bit much, but I think it'll be all right. It's just going to add some little specks of, just some little specks of glitter in there, kind of holographic, different colors. All right, so I'm actually just going to pour this in right now, because there's no reason to. Oh, it totally. Didn't think about that. Kind of collapsed down in there. So another way to do this is you could pour the resin in and then kind of push stuff down in. Okay. So I think I need to add a little bit more packing material to that one. So let's do that. So you can also just kind of push it down into your mold. I'm just going to use this little toothpick. That's pretty cool looking. All right, and I'm going to put that in my pressure pot. It'd probably be smarter to have some sort of a rack for these pipes, but I don't have one. So now the second one is going to be red, and I'm just going to drop a drop of red in here. This was the one that I picked. One color. We're not putting any micro starlights or anything in there. And that's a reasonable red color. I kind of knew what to expect. So this time I need to be a little bit more careful. I don't really need my popsicle stick in this cup for anything. So I'm going to actually try and pour this a little bit sideways. And let it kind of fill up from the bottom. That shouldn't really affect the paper as much as that first time when I just dumped it on there. That worked a lot better. And actually, I didn't really mix the dye in enough. That's pretty cool looking. Huh? I don't know if you guys can see. It looked cool to me. Okay, now we need to split 110 grams out of this one. And we're going to do 2 colors here. Pretty close. Close enough. We are going to do pink and yellow. So with yellow, again, yellow, I don't have to worry. It's not going to get dark on me. So I'm just going to put a drop of yellow in there, and that's fine. Now I've also split this in half, right? So there's like less resin, but even with that yellow, there's almost no way. I don't think there is any way, no matter how much yellow dye, Alumilite yellow dye, you add to the cup, it's not going to get opaque at all. Now we're going to do, what did I do? Oh, here's my other cup. I was like, what's going on here? So we're going to try pink, okay? Check out how little I'm going to add of this. We're going to use red. I am literally adding a pinprick. Okay? Just a tiny, tiny amount. And I'm not even going to wiggle it around. I just want to get the tiniest amount on there. And hopefully we'll get a pink hue. What do you guys think? Pink? Think pink? Huh? Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of micro starlight to the pink only. I don't know what this is really going to do. I have a feeling we're going to end up with whatever pink and yellow turns into. But you never know. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour a little bit of pink in. I'm just going to kind of swirl it around a little bit. And it's a little bit thick. I don't know what temperature we're at right now. And then I'm going to pour some yellow. And then some pink. I don't know, this stuff doesn't really look like it's going through very well. There it goes, now it's filling up. And some pink again. Some yellow. We'll top it off with a little bit of pink. How about that? So I don't know how this is going to turn out. We'll have to see. This one's a little bit of a wild child. I can't really see any difference between those two colors in it right now. But you never know. You know, in the end, we might get a little bit of separation in there. And it might turn out to be, it's not something I would have chosen ever, you know. So it's always interesting to try something like that out. And, you know, worst case scenario, it doesn't look that great. But at least we know. You know, you're not kind of sitting there like, well, how's that going to turn out? All right, so let's get our pressure pot lid on this one. All right, so I think we've been messing around with some transparent stuff. I think it's time that we just have a field day and throw some colors in. Because that's actually another thing that I wanted to do. I really enjoyed the color swirl that we got from those pen blanks. Do I have any of those here? I don't think I do. Well, I got the pen that I made. So while that's pressurizing, so I made a pen out of one last time. I forgot, I didn't mean to keep it from you guys, but here's the pen that I made. And I mean, it just turned out awesome. And you know, because of that packing material, the way it is, it really mixed up those colors well. It's just interesting the way it turned out. So why don't we'll do one more batch. I need to get this mold in the oven. I'm going to spray it real quick, just lightly. So we got one more. Get this guy in the oven. Okay. This time we can do whatever we want. So let's see here. I think what I'm going to do, because that first one, the one supposedly for Carl, we'll have to see how that turns out. I don't know. I have a backup handle blank that will go with that piece if we want to, or I may just if it's just really terrible, I might just go with like Blurple with the purple. Give him something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But with the packing material. So what I think I'm going to do is Frank and Julie get to pick. You guys pick a color. Because you kind of got screwed on that one a little bit, I think. So you guys get to pick a color, and then let's see here. Who else is in here? Let's have Jen pick a color. You kind of got screwed on that whole thing too, because I said that you could join in, then you couldn't. And so let's get Jen, Frank, Julie, and let's see here. Who else is in here? Why don't we let Doug pick a color? Because Doug is still healing, and I think he deserves to pick a color. Why not? He's a good guy. What do you guys say? All right, so Frank's up for some emerald green. And again, we're not going for transparent. Let's go for some colors. And so you can pick pearls. You could pick transparent if that's what you wanted, but there are going to be opaque colors in here. So what was it? What was it? Emerald green. Frank picked. So you could pick either, you know, dyes or the divine pigment dyes, the opaque dyes, or any of the pearls. We got a few. We got UFO green. We haven't tried that yet. UFO green. We did try the blue. We did try the macaw green from eye candy, and then yellow. Tampopo yellow, I think, is pretty much the same as a lot of the, probably like the yellow, sunrise yellow from Caster's Choice. Should still be getting a whole set of eye candies as well as the P-Town subby ones in. So let's see here. We got, all right, Paul, have a good one. Oh man, long drive to the Lake District. Thanks for joining the fun, man. Have a good evening. Yeah, you get to pick a color, Doug. And so does Jen, and so does, let's see, Julie, if Julie's still here. Yeah, I think Julie's, I don't know. Julie might not be here. If that's the case, we'll go with someone else. Blood red, nice. Okay, we got green and red. I think Doug's thinking Christmas. Christmas is coming. Frank wants the UFO. Did he switched it? Emerald. So let's go with UFO green. Do you still want blood red? Frank switched it up on you. We're gonna try the UFO. I will show you guys what UFO green looks like. It is ridiculous fluorescent. I have tried it. It is kind of crazy. So I want to let you guys know what that actually looks like. One thing that I will mention about UFO green is it's very chunky stuff, okay? Like you got to sit there and stir it forever. This is one where I actually recommend that you just add some to the part A before the part B, because you're going to be sitting there stirring it forever. And I literally had to pull a strainer out. So I just want to show you, not the most user-friendly mica. Okay, so we're going with blood red and UFO green. And then, looks, yeah, it does kind of look the same, but this one's not pearly. So, Frank, this one is not a pearl powder. It's just going to give you kind of a fluorescent color. Okay, so I want to make sure. I don't really want to use glow powders because they just sink. And they're very hard on my blades. So I'm not going to go with that today. Besides, we're waiting for, who else? Let's see here. Doug and Jen and Frank. We got Frank. Doug. So where's Jen? What did Jen pick a color? You get to pick a color as well. Did I miss it? Royal blue. Let's see here. I think the most royalist of blues that I have is like cobalt, maybe sky blue. I don't know. Yeah, maybe like sky blue. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, I think sky blue is a more royalty, worthy of royalty blue. Okay, so I don't think that we have Julie. So I am gonna pick, let's see here. I gotta think about who we get to pick for the colors. Let's pick, actually, how about Kim? Kim is always at the streams. Why don't you pick a color, Kim? The universe must be shifting. I told you to throw people. Yeah, well, it is 2020. I'm not surprised at this point. Kim wants the purple, so we got lots of purples. Do you want midnight? Do you want violet? Do you want plum crazy? Or do we have anything else? So we have a reflex violet. I don't know if kind of like the other ones as well. So like dark, kind of medium, or the plum crazy, kind of like that royal purple. Yeah, Kim's in with the purple. We got you covered. I need a drink. That's what I need. I knew something was going on that I needed. Whew. Man, oh, that's another thing is that smoke in the air. It just, my throat's always burning. All right, so we'll go with the plum crazy. I think that's kind of a more of a royalish, royalty purple to me. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we got our mold in the oven. Let's start writing down some notes here. And number 3. We're just doing a regular set of pen blanks. Number 3, number 2. All right, so we're going to be using what I call my 6 blank mold. We're going to use slow set clear, Alumilite, slow set clear. And that's going to hold 540 grams. We're putting 4 colors in. Let's just split it evenly. That's going to be 135 grams of each. And then we're going to do, let's see here. So UFO green, sky blue, blood red, and plum crazy. And I think, let's see here, I think we can do a 1/4 teaspoon of all these guys. I'm going to try, let's see here, I used the UFO green before. 1 teaspoon. Okay, we're going to try adding just an 1/8 teaspoon of it and just see what happens, because it seemed extremely chunky. And it clumps. It just didn't mix into the resin as well as like a normal mica powder. So let's see if we go with a little bit less. Let's see if it works a little bit better. I am going to actually have, let's see here. Oh yeah, I do. I actually do have a strainer. I mean, it was bad enough that I had to strain it. So if I run into that same issue, we're going to kind of strain it. Another way that I could do this is, what I was going to do is just fill up a whole cup, 270 grams times 2, and then dump it off into 4 different ones. However, another way that I could do it is mix up however much resin I need for 3 of these colors, and then do this one separately, where one way to deal with this is to mix it into the part A first, and you have, unlimited working time at that point. Problem is, if it doesn't want to work with you, eventually you just need to either pour it or just, strain it or do something. So I just want to kind of mention that. This one's a little bit different than your normal, okay? So let's get 3 cups there. And then I'm going to pop out the resin out of one of these guys. Oh, that one's not going to get clean. Okay, so let's try this one. Okay, so I'm just kind of cleaning out one of my big mixing cups, and I'm going to scrape the insides of this. I pulled the majority of the resin out. It was kind of, cured in there. Now I'm just using a ruler basically to kind of clean off anything else that's in there, and then I'm going to blow it out. Sorry if that was loud. It was loud to me too. Okay, so we got a quart mixing cup. Zero it out. So I'm just going to go for the we're gonna mix all of it in one cup, and I'll just deal with the UFO, even though it's a little clumpy. Okay, so we're shooting for 270 of part A and 270 of part B. Getting there, 268, 268 and a half. I think we're there. Oh, 269. Oh man, 269.8. All right, I think we ought to be there at this point. Oh, still not really, but 269.9, I'm going to call that close enough. All right, so we need 270 of the part B. Unfortunately, like I said, my pump is clogged and really slow. So you know what? I'm done with this pump. I really just don't have the patience to deal with this pump. So I have another pump in the thing, but we're just going to dump it out. 270. See, it's not thick. It's just that the pump is clogged. You got to be careful when you're just dumping it out. So we need 270. I'm sneaking. This is what I don't like. Using the jug usually. $250, $260. Oh man. One little trick, if you have like a gallon jug and you're trying to, like, you know, we're at 268.3. Chances are high that I could easily overshoot this by just dumping, you know, from a 1 gallon jug, especially a very full one. So a really good way to kind of, you know, cheat, sneak up on it. Whoa, see, I didn't even need that much. Is to pour it in something smaller so you can actually sneak up on the number that you're, you know, there we go, 270. Didn't need much. Then you can just pour the, you know, the rest back in. You're good. So just a little bit of a kind of a tip. I want to get this thing covered. You never want to leave your jugs just open, especially if you live in a humid place. Do not leave the cap off your jug. It's not, your resin will react and it's just not going to be pretty at all. All right, so let's mix this guy up. And then we're going to dump out, where are we at here? 135 grams total in each one of these cups. Add our micas. Toss in the paper stuff, and then we'll be good to go. We'll pour our colors. So we'll see if we can get some cool looking mixes again. Yeah, I don't like the I do use the bottles when I'm mixing Alumilite white resin, and that's the one that a lot of my pen blanks, the color swirl blanks, I actually use a different resin for, but it's such a one-trick pony that I don't like sharing it with people, because most people, it has a literally 2-minute working time. It's just not very good for most people. When I started resin casting, I started using that one. So I have 7 years of using it, so it's not a big deal to me, but it goes against, the way that I do it is not what I recommend for like 99% of everybody on the planet, so it's not a good thing to put on content, but I actually just pour out of the jugs with those ones, but because has such a short working time, I can't be sneaking up on multiple cups with A and B. I actually pour A and B separately. So in that case, it's not a big deal if I go over. I just pour it back in, you know. But typically, I like using the pumps on most resins. So much easier. But clogged pumps, not so much. They're not fun. All right, so I think that's good. We're gonna be mixing in micas anyway. So we got more mixing to do. 135 or so. These don't have to be like dead on accurate. Somewhere around there. That one's 137. Good enough. It's not going to, you know, in this case, with just adding mica powders like this, being off slightly is not going to make any difference in the end for repeatability purposes or anything like that. 135. So we'll do just 134 in that one. That'll be good. Maybe try and shoot for that in this one so they're sort of equal, even. All right, we're looking good, guys. We got 4 even, equal amount cups. I'm going to switch to this view now while we're doing this stuff. Get things rolling here. So I'm going to quickly do the 1/4 teaspoons of each one of these and get these guys going because they're going to be easy. So 1/4 teaspoon of each one of these colors. I'm just going to kind of quickly do that. I'm kind of rushing because this UFO green, like I said, it can take a while to get it mixed in. So I'm just going to kind of speed through this part because these things are all going to work fine. There's a few mica powder things that I've used. The interference powders, a lot of times they can be kind of a little bit difficult to get mixed in, kind of clumpy, let's say. Some mica powders just tend to be, I would imagine that if you're in a humid area, your mica powder may be a little bit more prone to clumping. I don't know. That may be one side effect of humidity. I live in Nevada, so that's not really going to affect my mica powders. One thing you could do that may help if you always have clumpy micas is put one of those desiccant powder things in your drawer with the mica powders. That may actually help. Where's my 1/8 teaspoon thing? Lost my 1/8 teaspoon, guys. I should say my favorite 1/8 teaspoon. So we're gonna just try this 1/8 teaspoon of the UFO green. Last time I used this stuff, I also loaded it up heavily, but you can see it's like chalk or something. It's kind of a crazy. This is not like your standard mica powder at all, okay? Throw everything you think you know about micas out. But you can kind of see it just takes forever. Like it just doesn't mix into resin as well. And maybe a different resin may be a little bit better, I don't know. But it's kind of clumpy stuff. Another one is Micro Pearl from Pearl X. That one's pretty clumpy. And again, a couple different ways that you can try to manage this. I mean, if it's terrible, and I literally used a strainer in the past on this UFO green. You could strain out the little particles before you pour it. You can try just pouring it into, whatever the thinner of your 2 parts of your resin. Pour it in there first before you even mix it up, and that way you have, forever to mix it in. So it's getting all right, but I think this is going to be fairly transparent. That's the thing, is if you want it to be pretty opaque, you'd have to mix a ton of it. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to call this, let's add some, most of this stuff is going to be pretty much pretty much opaque. Most of the blank. All the rest of the colors are super opaque. So we're just going to go with a tiny amount of the UFO green and just kind of see how this plays, in the final blanks. I can still see a few little clumpy things in there, but we need to get moving on these other guys, get these mixed in. And then we'll come back to the UFO green later. And kind of just keep mixing that until it's ready to pour. So we're going to wait. Now, my shop is totally different. So this is where the temperature thing with pouring your colors and keeping them separated, most of you guys know. So you want to wait till the end of the working time is kind of how I always put it, when it starts to kind of thicken up, gel up. The thing is, I'm used to the temperature that I had been pouring at was around 115, but that was when my shop was 85 degrees. I mean, it's 9 degrees cooler in the shop right now. So I actually have a feeling that I can easily get away with probably pouring this at like 105 or 110. It actually changes because the resin has a thicker viscosity just sitting on the counter, sitting in the cup. When it's 85 degrees in the shop, the resin starts much thinner. And that's why I adjust my numbers, because it kind of, I don't find that I get the same type of results. If I, like in the winter when it's like 70, 72 degrees in here, I usually pour around 105 with Alumilite Clear Slow Set. That does not work in the summer when it's 85. I don't get the same results. And some of it has to do with the way that you pour them as well. But the main thing is it's that viscosity is much thinner. And so you may have to wait a little bit longer in warmer temperatures to get the same results you were getting when it was cooler. So we're just going to kind of see where we're at. You know, I'll start thinking about pouring this at about 105. There's no reason, you know, nothing bad's going to happen if we wait a little bit longer. I don't want it to be too thick though, because I want it to go through that material. So it's kind of a guessing game, but. All right, so this stuff is starting to kind of, there's only a few little clumpies here and there down in the bottom of the cup. So it worked out pretty decent, but it is very transparent. All right, so my thermometer, let's see where we're at temperature-wise. When it's cooler, it takes longer for it to heat up, obviously. So we're at 101 right now. I don't know how long it's really been sitting, but 101. 102, according to this one. And I think that, yeah, like 105 I think is going to definitely, we're good around 105. I can just kind of tell looking at the viscosity of it, how it runs off the, you know, the thing. So let's see here. We're just going to kind of shove it down in there, I guess, again. Add a little bit more. And we were getting some really interesting results because the resin kind of flows through this stuff. So the combination of pouring it around, and you know, one color at a time, and it being kind of funneled through those little slits, we got some, whoa, it's 106, so we got to go here. I want it to be fairly thin, you know. I want it to kind of pour through those holes. So let's do this, guys. Let's do this. You guys can see, right? Sort of. I might move this thing a little bit. Back it up. Back it up. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do this. This is how I did it last time. I'm just going to kind of pour it around, see what we get. I can't remember how many colors we did on those last ones. It was like 3 or 4. Get this thing going here. Get a little bit of resin on there so that it'll start kind of sinking down in. All right, so we got our green. Got our blue done. Got our red. And we got some purple. Okay. So let's see here. I'm just going to kind of, I don't want to mess it up too much. I want to get some of this stuff down in there. I think we waited a little bit longer than I would have normally. Told you, when the temperature changes in my shop, things get crazy. All right, so this is going to go into our pressure pot. And let's see here, this one, I think so. Yep. And again, 70 psi, same routine. And here we go. Woo! All right, we got it. I have calibrated arms. Yeah, I kind of do. I've been doing this stuff for so long. Kind of know. But like I said, I don't really, I've been doing things the same way for a long time. So I don't really pour the clear out of bottles too much. And then what I'm going to do here is, this is a reusable HDPE stir stick. So I'm just going to wipe it off. You can wait and let the resin harden onto it, but then you have to peel that off and mess with it. And so I'd rather, if you can get to it, oh, for goodness sakes. If you can remember, I find, wipe it off and then I just hit it with a little bit of acetone before, and then it's ready to go. Like, the acetone evaporates quickly. So this thing I can start mixing the next one with. I'd rather get a hold of it before it sets up. But once the resin sets up, once it starts hardening on there, then you just basically have to wait and then peel it off of there. So let me get these guys put away real quick before I forget. I don't like leaving stuff sitting around. My OCD. Get that stuff out of my way and I don't have to think about it. So we'll have to see how these work. I'm really excited about the transparent ones. One of the when we did this the first time, I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be really cool patterns in this, which we got some interesting patterns. And in that pen blank, you can kind of see some stuff. And we did kind of a handle blank with a little bit lighter colors. And the brown kind of stuck out a little bit more, but it was pretty muted. It's not like it stuck out crazy, like pasta blanks are kind of nuts, or honeycomb. It was obvious. So it was a little bit less, impressive. But I did really like how the color swirl worked. Like, it was a good, easy way to make some cool color swirl blanks and have a little tiny bit of pattern in it. But we didn't even try doing a transparent one the first time. So I thought, we need to do this and see what does this stuff really look like inside, where you can really see the patterning in it. So I'm excited to see how that works. And then that last one, I know everybody loves getting to pick colors. So I appreciate everybody's super chats and all you guys' input on what to do with the blanks. I know sometimes when I confine things and I'm like, no, you can't do this, but you can do that. It makes it it takes a little while to get things picked and all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys' patience on that, but I'm pretty excited. I think they'll turn out pretty good. So I'll probably fire up a stream tomorrow while I demold those things. Yeah, I think that's about it. So, and the other thing I want to mention is the Star Wars Sphere video will be up Sunday. And that also is going to kick off the auction. So again, for anybody that doesn't know what's going on with the Star Wars, the X-Wing Sphere. So Scott Wishart, he's kind of the master of the X-Wing spheres. A lot of the stuff that you see, the pictures on Instagram and stuff, is his work. He's doing a fundraiser. He's doing a 100K bike-a-thon, and he's also fundraising for the MS Society. The MS Society for with that, and he asked me if I wanted to help help out, basically make a project and auction that off, and then donate the proceeds from that auctioned off piece to his fundraiser. So I decided, I was like, I'm going to do an X-Wing sphere. So I got that thing all done, but I wanted to wait until the video, like shoot a video of it, put the video up, and that'll kick off, the auction period. So the auction is going to be over on my Instagram page. I'll put a post up of that piece. And then, so, what everyone will do is just put their bids. If you want to bid on it, you just put your bid down in the comments on Instagram on that post. And then on the 27th, so it's going to open start, I'll post it on the 20th. And then on the 27th, that's like, so 11:59 p.m. Pacific time will be when we shut off, cut off the entries. And then whoever's got the highest bid wins the piece. So I'll get a hold of you. And 100% of the proceeds of that piece, whatever the highest bid amount is going to be 100% given to Scott, which will go to MS Society. I'm going to cover shipping, so you don't have to worry about shipping charges on that bid. So it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited. So the piece turned out wicked awesome, and the video, I don't know, a lot of times when I'm excited about a video, it doesn't do very well, but I think the video is going to be pretty good. I'm enjoying watching it. So eventually, the way I kind of edit a video, and then kind of go back and just, is there anything that I would change? Can I shorten anything that seems to be running on? Do I need to put any information in? And so I'll have things kind of ready. And then just kind of play it back. It's like if you were writing a paper or something like that, you just kind of, review it, a draft, and then kind of whatever. And so I'm actually enjoying watching the whole video every single time this time. So I think it's going to be good. Hopefully you guys will like it. So that'll be up on Sunday. And then, like I said, the auction will be starting on Sunday as well. The auction part is on Instagram though. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that. Tell you what. Before you guys go, I think we're going to do a quick teaser, guys. Quick teaser, and there's actually more to this. So this is the sphere. That's all you get. That's all you get. You got to watch the video now to see how that all works out. So excited about that thing. It turned out great. So I'm very happy. Especially for something, if you're raising money for charity, you're like, oh, I really want this auction piece to be good. And it turned out perfect. So I'm very excited about it. So anyway, be looking for that video Sunday. Excuse me, I can't talk. Be looking for that video Sunday. And then tomorrow I'll probably fire up the stream kind of just quick. We'll just, pop these things out of the mold, see what they look like, and then close it down. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And if not then, I will see you in the comments on Sunday. So I appreciate you guys joining the fun tonight. I hope you have a great evening, have a great weekend, get in the shop, make something cool. And I guess that's about it. And happy casting, guys. So I will see you guys tomorrow.